Hi everyone. Figured I'd do a video now that I've been a couple months into residency and wanted to show you what was in my bag. This is my backpack. It's a gift that I got from my mom many years ago, but I still use it. I'll probably use it until it wears out completely. I have a general notebook. I don't use this that much anymore. I used to use it to take notes anytime the residents were teaching anything. So I tried to jot it down in this book. And it was going great until it got really busy and I didn't have time to put stuff in here, and the residents also didn't have enough time. So this hasn't been filled in a while, but I have it just in case I need a notebook. I have a folder with protocols for various things like antibiotics, and sometimes articles that are given to me I'll put in here. Although that has not happened in a while, and I hardly ever open this, but it's there just in case. I think I pulled it out a couple times during the ICU rotation when people had DKA or needed antibiotics that I was less familiar with. And then I have this in there too. I have barely touched this. I think I only pulled it out maybe once when I had a few minutes extra to spare, but it is there just in case. I tried to read at least a review just to get more knowledge, but honestly, no one has time for that anymore. But every once in a while, I'll take a look and read something from this. Mainly at home, usually not at work. I have one of these clipboards that folds. It's a really cool clipboard that folds, and I like that it has a little space underneath in case you have a lot of papers, which I normally do. And there are some fancier ones out there with basic lab ranges. But this is kind of no nonsense I got from Amazon. It wasn't nearly as expensive as the ones that have the lab values on the back, but it works and I like it. So this is definitely one of the most used purchases that I got on Amazon, and one of the most used in residencies. I've seen a couple of other residents have something similar, and I love it. I think you need it. I generally walking around sometimes will jot notes, check things off, and it's a lot easier to do than like a folded piece of paper. So this is my favorite thing that I have and that I use during residency. This is just an emergency pack. I have, let's see what I got. I've got hand sanitizer, some ibuprofen, some other hygiene products in here. I don't use this that often, but it is pretty handy to have ibuprofen. I think I may have used it once or twice, and definitely necessary to have a little like personal hygiene bag for in case of emergencies. This is Practitioner's Pocket Pal. I used this mainly during medical school, but it had a lot of good references in it that I very occasionally will actually look at. I think I reference often this acid-base disorder section that I have tagged here. So that's really helpful. But I'm using this less and less as the months go by. Actually, I use this the most. I actually decided to invest in a proper one. I have a couple of cards in here. So I decided to invest in one of these because I actually do eye exams. I don't know what it is. This wasn't as common at the institution I was previously, but we do a lot of the eye exams before ophthalmology sees someone. They usually request a formal eye exam from us. So I surprisingly have had to do these now, where I never really had to do one in medical school. So this is new. So I decided to invest in a proper one that's a lot more sturdy than this paper one, so I can wipe it down and sanitize it. I have a couple of other cards. I think these sets that I got from Amazon as well. This is an emergency intubation checklist that I got for my rotation during the ICU. The ones that are most helpful for understanding things are the intubation medications. This is, again, the acid base thing comes up all the time. This one is good. It has a range of values that was really helpful during the ICU rotation. Yeah, this card also has other sedation medications and quick management for status epilepticus. So this card set was really helpful for ICU when I rotated through there. Let's see, I have a stethoscope. I think this is a Littman Master Cardiology something. I think it's worthwhile getting a good stethoscope actually for if you're doing a medicine year, just because it's so hard to hear with everything else in the background, the beeping. If you're in the ED, it's even louder. And I tried to use one of those disposable stethoscopes a couple times. I forgot it, and I definitely missed this other stethoscope because you can hardly hear anything. I think it's worthwhile to invest in at least a little better one, especially if you're in really loud settings. And I found this little clip thing. I think I bought this from Amazon actually. This one says Endeavor Designs, and it's just a Velcro clip, but it has a clip on the back that I clip onto my scrubs. So I usually have one of those scrub tops that has a pocket around your sides or your abdomen. So I usually clip it onto one of those pockets or my scrub jacket pocket, so it's not hanging around my neck. I hate that so much when it's hanging around my neck, and this is heavy. So I love just clipping it on so it doesn't weigh my neck down. Let's see, I have a toothbrush. I think it's necessary to have a toothbrush. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then, okay, I have a little bag of electronics and miscellaneous items. Needless to say, a charger, a set of chargers, an emergency charger for when your phone dies and you can't find a plug, which is surprisingly common. I have even an Apple Watch charger in here, which is... I actually haven't had to use this that often, maybe like once, but having an Apple Watch or some kind of smartwatch is actually pretty nice. Well worth having one, I think, just for keeping track of the time. I have the temperature. I have actually the time set in seconds, so in case I need to like time anything very too specific. I also am tracking my water too, so it's like helpful to keep track of that. And then other thing I have here, I saw someone else on YouTube have the fishbone stamp, and I saw they used to sell it on Amazon, but they no longer sell it there anymore. So I actually went to one of those custom stamp making websites and actually made my own little fishbone setup. Again, I'll have my rounding list and I'll just stamp it on there, and this actually saves a lot of time. This is a worthy investment. I just like quick stamp on the list under every patient section. So I think this was actually a good investment that I use the most. I made another stamp set with like a rounding checklist. I don't know if you can see. That just says round, consults, orders, notes, labs, imaging, sign out to check off. I don't use this that much anymore. I used to use it a lot to keep myself organized, but over time I started to come up with my own system that I understand. I'm using this one less and less, but still this thing though, worth it. Okay, I got the Stoggles. I see a lot of people wearing this in the hospital, and I got it for one of my ID rotations because I wear glasses normally. I actually got the prescription one, and it's actually like really, to me, worth it to not have to wear those like plasticky ones on top of my glasses, which just tends to fall off or fogs up awkwardly. So this is actually a worthy investment in my mind. A couple things more. I have a pen light. Definitely need one of these. I don't really like the phone lights. They're not as specific and not as good to get a pupil reflex, so I definitely recommend one of these. These, you'll see almost every one of the residents has something similar to this. You can actually find this, I saw at Sam's Club too. So definitely buy a lot of these. And then I saw another resident had this kind of cool pen. You can customize actually the colors on the sides that you pin in and change them up. So this is a really nice pen that I got from Amazon. Recommend, one of my favorites. I think that actually maybe, oh wait, no, one more thing to show you. So this, I saw some of the other residents when I was in med school had something similar. And I thought, you know, I would never invest in one, but I actually did. It's one of these cool like O2 monitors that actually will measure your O2, but actually also allows you to see waveforms, which is kind of nice. So you can actually check to see if this is good waveforms on patients. And I've actually had to use this, believe it or not, because each floor is different, and sometimes I'm running around and can't find an O2 stat, and then I need to know like what's happening. So it's very, I haven't had to pull it out too much, but I've had to a couple times when I just didn't know where things were. I don't know the codes for the rooms. Nursing is either busy or not there for me to quick do something when I think something's a bit more. It's not yet an emergency, but like I want to know right then and there. So this has actually been pretty useful, especially also in the ED. It's very hard to find like the nurse in charge there because they're so busy to help get vitals and things. So this is actually very helpful. And I think this also tells you heart rate too, so essential. And I think that's it for my bag. So I hope that was interesting for you guys. Residency is really hard, but you learn a lot. Alright, bye.